Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing good today. There's a lot going on in the news. There's a lot going on in the whole world, and I have a lot to talk about. In this video, I'm going to cover the airplane crash in Pearson Airport. For those of us who are Canadian, this hits home. Personally, I worked in Pearson Airport for around a year, so I've been around the same terminal that this happened at. It's a big deal. So that was flight 4819, and there were 76 passengers and 4 crew members in that deal. So again, very, very tragic. So I'm going to talk more about that, give you some details that you might not know of that the mainstream media isn't really telling you. On top of that, Trump has been on the news regardless of what's going on. Trump is always saying something, he's always doing something that puts him on the headlines. And for this scenario, he's been putting tariffs on Canada, which is not very nice. Ever since he got sworn in as president, he's been making a lot of moves, making a lot of controversial moves, moves that are pro-American and very pro-isolationist. So we're going to talk about that, give you more insight, and tell you exactly where we are with the Trump tariffs. There's so much going on, and it's sort of easy to lose track. So I'm going to clear that up, and I'm going to end it with a nice one. The Canadian hockey team, the fans, they booed the American national anthem. What did the Canadian team do? They fought 3 times in the first 9 seconds. I'm not a Canadian hockey fan at all, but I know that's not normal, that's not common, and a lot of fans that were completely starstruck. That never happens unless there is an insane rivalry that needs to be settled. Well, it happened. We booed them, they beat us, and then we beat them. So that's going to be a happy ending, a happy story for us Canadians. Let's get into all of it. So about this accident, it's not really so much the accident itself, although very tragic, and I'm very happy that no one actually suffered any serious injuries. Although there's 2 people still admitted in the hospital, no one died, which is always an amazing thing and honestly a miracle. But it's not so much the accident, it's not so much the crash, it's not so much the flames and the upside down plane. It's what's more interesting is the compensation that they're getting, the sort of deal that Delta Airlines is giving to the passengers to really not pursue legal action against them, which is more interesting to talk about, which I will talk about in this video. So regardless, I want you to watch the video. It's absolutely tragic. For those of you who are not Canadian and you're watching this video, you probably do not know of this. It's an insane video. Watch. All right, so we have the plane here. Everything looks normal, and there you go. Flames going out of nowhere. Again, the airstrip is completely filled with snow, right? And I'm assuming it was a windy day. I can see the wind going by. Smoke everywhere. I bet in that scenario, in that second, right there, the passengers thought that they were going to die. That's what they thought. I would think the same thing. It's an airplane crash. It's a very scary thing to happen. It leaves a lot of people with trauma. It's scary. It's very, very scary. Another video. I have another video for you. This is going to be from the point of view from the survivors. The passengers itself actually recorded a video, which is crazy. I mean, when this type of stuff happens, the first thing that people do is they pull up their phone and they start recording. Regardless, it gave us a good video to watch. Here it is. So there you have it. They're coming out. It's an upside down plane. And I don't know why that guy is laughing. I don't know if you guys saw his smirk. But there you have it. It's an upside down plane. And it was just on fire. They're going to start throwing water at it. There you have it. And they're running away now. So kudos to the flight attendant. When that happens, when your plane is completely upside down on an airstrip, it's when on fire. You don't know what's happening. Everyone's yelling. It's screaming. And they're chaotic. That shows dedication. This shows courage. It shows a lot of courage. And not a lot of people can do that. And their training kicked in, which is absolutely amazing to see. So next time you go to an airplane and you're sitting down and the flight attendant gives you a Diet Coke, just know that that's 1% of their job. They are trained to do so much more in the case that something like that happens, God forbid. So keep that in mind. You got to give kudos because that's very, very courageous from them. Now, as I promised you, I want to talk more about the payout. Delta Airlines has offered to pay $30,000 to each of the surviving passengers. We have not yet gotten the details of the payout for the flight attendants and the pilot, whether or not there is one. There hopefully is. Regardless, it's $30,000 for 76 passengers that were in the plane. Now, I want you to go down in the comment section right now. Tell me, If you think that's a fair deal, would you take the 30,000 or would you not take the 30,000 and why? I'm really interested to find out what you guys have to say because so far the public is 50-50 on this. A lot of people are saying, hey, if I get $30,000 and a cool story to tell and I'm alive and, I have no damage, great, I'll take it. And the other side of the people, they're saying that, you know what? There was a plane crash. It went on fire. It was upside down. It gave you trauma. Can very well do that. It's a near-death experience. No, thank you. I'm gonna sue Delta Airlines, which is fair to say too. And keep in mind, it's not just $30,000. It's 30,000 plus. This is something you probably do not know. 30,000 plus a 50% coupon on their next flight. Just sounds like rubbing salt on a wound. Just doesn't sit well. Now, I do want to give you my take on this. Should the passengers take a $30,000 payout and just be happy? Or should they not take the $30,000 payout and actually pursue legal action against Delta Airlines? Here's what I think. 2022, okay? Delta Airlines made $50 billion in revenue. This is not gross. This is not, without expenses. This is with expenses cut. This is with taxes. This is really the bottom line revenue that they're making. $50 billion. This is after wages, after everything. 2023, $58 billion. 2024, last year, $62 billion. Okay? On top of that, the CEO of Delta Airlines, guess how much he made? He made $34 million in 2023. Looking at those numbers, let's look at the amount that is being paid out. $30,000 times 76, that gives you $2,280,000. That's the total payout that they're going to spend on all the passengers that could have died. Now, does that seem fair? I don't think so. In my eyes, especially in the industry of airlines and aviation, safety is the top priority. It should be the top protocol. I just think that there should be a bigger blow to Delta Airlines to a point where they make sure that they double check their safety procedures. They invest in their safety procedures, that nothing like this can ever happen again, because if it does, people are going to hit them harder than ever. And the reality is, accidents in the airline industry, we've seen more and more of them, especially with Boeing going on in America, where an airliner hit a helicopter where actually people did actually die. It's a very tragic event every time it happens, and it should be very much avoided. And how do we do that? We don't let them get away with just by paying $2 million to the passengers and just calling it a day and going on with their next flight. It's simply too little for the amount that they make. I don't have a number for you on how much they should be paying, but regardless, it just doesn't seem right. For 76 lives, it does not seem right. And now that we're talking about money and, we're talking about who should be paying more, it's a perfect segue all the way to Trump. Guys, Trump has been putting tariffs on Canada in the recent times. For us Canadians, this is a big deal. I live in Ontario. I know a lot of the Canadians that are watching this. We've seen this on the news, and it's been on the news for a long time, and there's been a lot of updates. There's been a lot of new news coming on when it comes to tariffs, and it's very easy to lose track. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, where we are now, what to expect. Okay, so February 1st, that's the day that it started. Trump signs an executive order to put 25% tariff on all Canadian products being shipped to America, except our energy sector, which I believe, for example, is oil and gas that we ship out to America. That was only 10%. That's on February 1st. That was supposed to enact on February 4th. So they sort of gave us 3 days to, think about it and make a move. And we did make a move. Justin Trudeau, he had a talk with Trump literally 6 hours before the tariffs were going to take place, and they made a deal. Justin Trudeau appointed a border czar, which was going to take care of the fentanyl, which is a big concern for America, apparently, even though it's 0.1% of total fentanyl in America. Most of it comes from Mexico. Regardless, that's his concern, 0.1%. And the illegal immigrants. I don't even have to tell you how many more immigrants are coming in from the southern border of America. Regardless, that's what they think the threat is. So be it. Trudeau appointed a border czar to relieve that sort of stress point for Trump and the American government. What Trump did was he postponed those tariffs. by 1 month. So that was enough for him to only postpone it. It wasn't enough for him to cancel it. It wasn't because I'm assuming that's not what he really wants. He wants something more. He postponed the tariffs by 1 month. So it's going to be enacted on March the 4th. That's not too far from now. It's actually coming in very soon. So that's when all the American companies are again going to be paying 25% more to get the Canadian products. There's going to be a 25% tariff. Now, February 10, he again imposes another 25% tariff on an industry-specific base on our steel and aluminum products. Now, what does this mean? March 4th, we have 25% tariff going on every Canadian product that goes into America. And then on March 12th, there's going to be, as I said, an industry-specific tariff going on our steel and aluminum products. Now, for steel and aluminum, it's going to be 50% total tariff, 25% general tariff, 25% industry-specific tariff, 50% tariff. It leaves us completely not being able to compete with the market. With a 50% tariff, it's absolutely insane. Now, I do just want to mention really quickly exactly how these tariffs work. And the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people don't really 100% understand it. So I'm just going to very quickly and clearly tell you exactly what they do. Let's say it's March 4th today. The American companies that buy the Canadian product are going to have to pay more because of the 25% tariff. This means they're going to pay 25% more than they did previously. That's a huge number, especially because there's so much that they're buying from us. They're our biggest trading partners, and there's a lot of revenue that comes from it. That's a big blow. Here's how this affects us, and here's how this affects them, because it affects the American people too. You see, some industries aren't so easily switched. For them to make a contract, for them to find a different trading partner, it takes a long time. So I'm going to assume that they keep trading with us. If they pay 25% more, guess what? That American company isn't going to just take that 25% more tariff and sell it at the same price to their American citizens. They're going to raise it for their American citizens on the market for 25% higher as well. The companies are not going to take a loss. That's the point. The companies don't lose, the consumers lose. If they're paying 25% more to get the merchandise, they're going to sell at 25% more to the American public. How does this affect us? They're not going to do this for a long time, right? They're going to look for alternatives. It's either that the Canadian companies, they reduce their price to still be competitive with other markets, or we find other partners that are going to buy our products, which is, again, a hard process to do. It's not an easy one. So what the American company can do is completely ignore the Canadian products, stop buying from them, either start producing the product domestically and in their own country, which is going to, again, takes a long time to do that, or they can find another trading partner elsewhere. Those are the two options for the American companies. Regardless, any way you look at it, the amount of business that Canadians are going to lose, the Canadian companies, it's absolutely astounding. It's going to leave us with lower wages. It's going to leave us with unemployment, and it's going to leave us with less economic activity. They're not going to make money anymore, which means there's no money coming in, especially because it's a huge industry. We have a huge surplus with America, and there's a lot of trade that happens. And that money is very important to run the Canadian economy. So, guys, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And you know what? I want to talk about Trump as well, because this has been happening now that Trump is in office. Trump is one of those individuals that society, I think, personally, society is going to look back at. Not just because he was president twice of the United States, which is the richest country in the world, the most military advanced country in the world, the strongest country in the world. Not just because of that, but because he conducts business, the way he negotiates, the way he deals with his partners. For Canadians, this is a scary moment because we are truly very dependent on America. And this is a wake-up call to a lot of Canadians. Regardless, Trump is doing this for his country. He's doing this in the interest of being an isolationist. He doesn't like to depend on other countries. He doesn't like to have a trade deficit, even though there's many reasons why there's a trade deficit. He doesn't like it. So be it. He wants to be an isolationist. So be it. What we have to do is make sure that we appoint a leader that's going to be competent enough to actually negotiate in a similar way or a strong way against Trump and his team. Who do we think is going to do that best? Do we think Justin Trudeau is going to do that? He's already out of office. Mark Carney or Pierre? Again, that's a whole topic. That's a whole another video, and I might even make that video for the next time. If you want that, comment down below. I can sort of let you know on the two strategies and which person would be better. And now, guys, so the last topic, Canadian fans boo the American national anthem. These are the patriots, these are the nationalists, the patriots, the hockey team fans. They don't like America and what they did. And I think it's completely fair. Regardless, I want to show you the video of them actually booing. Let's take a look. Keep in mind, a lot of the Canadians were actually singing along the national anthem of the United States, but just some bad apples were booing. Regardless, it made headline news. The Americans didn't like it. They did not like it at all. They found it offensive, and it really pissed them off. But I do want to ask one thing. Doesn't the thought of turning a whole country into a state, isn't that more offensive? Personally, that's what I think. Personally, I think it's fair that they got booed on. I'm sure they're not going to lose any sleep over it, but they had it coming. Regardless, I want to show you guys a tournament and what actually ended up happening. So this is a tournament where the actual game actually took place. So it was between Canada, Sweden, America, and Finland. These are the four nations, and it was a tournament. Now, Canada won the first one, great. United States won the second one. They're both 1-1. Finland and Sweden go each other. Finland wins. This is the game that, they actually booed the national anthem, and we lost. We lost that game, and the Americans loved it just because we lost. And Trump actually visited the hockey team, the American hockey team, and told them how happy he was that they were able to beat the Canadian team. I don't think Trump knew that this is a tournament, and there was another chance that the Canadian hockey team had. So Canadian won that the match against Finland, and then United States, they lost against Sweden. By the way, Sweden lost here. They were on a losing streak, but they came together and pulled out a win that gave Canada and United States another chance to fight it out as a finale, the championship. That was when Canada got the win. 3-2. They actually did it. So again, it's a happy ending. It's a good story. I think it's completely fair. There was a lot of rivalry between Canada and America, which isn't really that common. It's a very friendly game as always, but this time it was obviously more heated, more stressed, and people were on their toes. I wish I was in that stadium because it must have been so nice to watch. Regardless, guys, if you found this video helpful in any way, I want you to go ahead, scroll down a little, subscribe to my channel, like the video, and comment down below what you like about this video or what I should post about next. If you enjoyed this video, thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day.